again. In this video, we're reviewing American Horror Story Coven, the season finale, episode 13, The Seven Wonders. Before I get started the review, I just want to say that I know many people didn't like this season. Me personally, I loved it. Maybe it was because it was my first season of American Horror Story, but this is my favorite season of the show. Minus episode 11. Episode 11 just was not my favorite. I did not like it very much. I didn't like it. This episode, though, I thought was amazing. I don't have any problems with it. Except the beginning was a little weird. Let's just get to that beginning. The beginning started with Stevie Nicks came out of nowhere, basically, and sang the Seven Wonders song. I get where they were going with it, but it seemed too silly. Like, it didn't really seem believable that Stevie Nicks would just come back and, say, oh, good luck on the Seven Wonders. It didn't seem like that was logical at all. But what I did like was you got to see everyone kind of mastering their powers, Zoe is just looking at a book, basically, and doing telekinesis. Madison is trying to talking to Nan. Queenie, no, that's Queenie that's trying to talk to Nan. Madison is just showing off, basically. And Misty is growing flowers. So that's what happened there. Then the real action started. Myrtle wanted to have some big, elaborate Last Supper, as she called it, before the Seven Wonders started. So they did that. And then then the Seven Wonders started. They start with telekinesis, which works, then the concilium works, and then it's time for each of them to go inside each other's dreams, basically. Not inside each other's, but inside their own dreams. So, hell, basically. Now, I really loved their hell. One of them was really funny. Let's see. Queenie's was back at the chicken shack. Madison's she was on The Sound of Music Live, and she was Liesel. That was probably the funniest line Madison's ever said. Like, that was genuinely funny because The Sound of Music Live sucked. Let's just admit it. It was terrible. It sucked. And that line from her was great when she said, I wasn't even the lead, I was Liesel. It was hilarious. Zoe's was her and Kyle breaking up over and over again. And then Misty's was, I guess, something weird in a class with her having to dissect a frog. Like, she didn't want to. I'm guessing that's the reason she moved to a swamp. Because she didn't want to kill these frogs. So. But the problem is, she puts herself into this hell and she can't get out of it. So Misty is now dead. Did I expect Misty to die so quickly? No, I expected her to kick the shit out of Madison one more time first, but what are you gonna do? Her dying, honestly, fine. I thought, great character. I didn't expect her to go to hell or anything. I don't think she necessarily deserved it, but in order for them to move on with the episode, she had to die. Then they're all playing a game of witch tag, and Cordelia says to them, it's not a game, it's not a game, and Zoe does not listen to her, and Zoe gets impaled on this thing, and she almost dies that way, and she dies that way, basically, and Cordelia tells Madison to bring her back to life, and Madison says, no, I'm not doing that. I already have 6 of my 7 wonders. I don't need to do that. And, Myrtle talks with Cordelia, and she says to Cordelia how she thinks that Cordelia could actually be the next Supreme. Meanwhile, Cordelia's really upset because she thinks that Fiona was right, that Madison was a Supreme all this time. But, Myrtle says, no, you could be a Supreme. And, she wants Cordelia to try 7 wonders. Cordelia gets 5 of the 7 wonders down, basically. And then Madison throws a hissy fit. Another hissy fit. Yeah, she throws another hissy fit, basically, and she just snaps. She's like, you know what, I don't need any of you. The only reason I'm here is because this was supposed to be like a rehab thing, and I don't need any of you. She plans to start her over her life. Kyle comes in the room, basically saying, you know, he comes in the room saying you killed her and everything, and he strangles her to death. Yes, I knew Kyle would kill her. I thought it was a little silly and crazy, but I'm very happy he killed her. Because someone had to kill that bitch, and you killed her. So thank you. So then after this, we see, while Madison is being choked to death, Cordelia brings Zoe back to life. Cordelia gets her sight back, and Cordelia is the new Supreme. So Cordelia's new Supreme. Then we go a few months later. Also, when Madison died, Spaulding came back and was like, "Who are you?" I thought that was really funny. That was definitely really funny, in my opinion. And so a few months later, Cordelia is now explaining on TV. They're now exposing witches personally to the entire world because she wants to be a better Supreme. And she wants to open up a school again for more girls. You see all these girls, basically. And Myrtle's talking with Cordelia, and Myrtle tells Cordelia that she actually wants to be burned at the stake. Because, if you guys remember back on episode 9, she took out the 2 witch counselors' eyes, and they're dead now, so she wants to repay for her sins. So, Cordelia decides, fine, we'll burn you at the stake. And I like how this time it was more like cordial with the burning, where Fiona was like, you burned them, I knew you burned them, and you're gonna pay for it. Cordelia's was more mournful and sad, and I did not expect Myrtle to die. I thought Myrtle was actually gonna be one of the ones who actually lived through this, but I was wrong. She didn't live through this. She got burned at the stake, and she's gone now. And her last word, she got burned at the stake, and her last words were something, I don't remember what her last words were. It was hard to make out of it, but I really enjoyed, I really enjoyed seeing that because I didn't expect that to happen, and I thought it was really nice, touching scene between Cordelia and Myrtle Snow, one last scene. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. So now after this, we see the school being open to girls, and Cordelia tells Zoe and Queenie she wants to make the 2 of them her which is basically her co-supremes, because they didn't really, they didn't really do anything, so she wants to make them her co-supremes, which they are happy with. And, they ask if they can come to school, and she says, no, I have one last thing to do. And that one last thing to do is the big twist of the episode. The big twist is that Fiona faked her death. Fiona basically told the Axeman she was running away to Paris, and she planted in his head the way her death would go, to make it look like he killed her, so he would be so upset that he'd just not care anymore and die. In the process, though, Fiona's lost her health, and she has no powers. She actually tells Cordelia that she actually does love her daughter. They have one last touching moment. I know most people are thinking, Fiona's gonna kill Cordelia. Fiona's gonna kill Cordelia. Fiona's about to kill Cordelia. I thought she was gonna do the same exact thing. But she didn't. She actually hugged her, and Fiona goes to her hell, which is trapped with the Axemen, and, that's where Fiona is. She's now trapped with the Axemen. Honestly, that part of the episode was a little weird. I thought she woke up and I thought this was all going to be a dream. I'm like, no, don't make this all a dream. That's silly. But it wasn't. It was just her own personal hell. So, Cordelia goes back. She tells Zoe and Queenie they can open it up now. And they all come in. She's explaining to them that she wants to be better than Fiona, basically. And Fiona said that to her, too. Fiona said, you ought to be a better Supreme than I was. And, yeah, I just really enjoyed that whole scene between Fiona and Cordelia. And then one of the witches asks, what's a supreme? And Queenie says, you're looking at her, and then Cordelia smiles. So, it was a happy ending. It was a happy ending because Cordelia's a supreme, so we got something out of it, and Queenie got something out of it. So, it was a happy ending. And you know what, guys? I love this episode. I did. I love the episode. I thought it was a perfect finale. I didn't find anything wrong with it, and it was really good. I think my only thing that I am going to say with this show was that I think the reason people didn't like it was because you had these characters, but they didn't really do anything. For example, Kyle's now Spalding. Where Spalding was in the beginning of the season, that's where Kyle is minus he can talk, and he's dating Zoe. So, Kyle's the new butler now. I thought that was kind of cool, but I mean, it makes sense because Spalding's dead. Kyle is, you know, I thought that was cool, but still a little weird, in my opinion. Kyle really didn't do anything this season, but I thought he was an interesting character. Overall, I think it was probably my favorite episode of the season. I thought it was really good. And I just want to reminisce on the show. So, why did I love this show so much? I don't know, I think I fell in love with this show. I know a lot of people didn't like it. We do have some details about Season 4, though. Season 4, as we know, is going to take place, in the 1950s. That's what Murphy said. He said he wants to do things completely different because he doesn't like to repeat things. He likes to do the opposite of what they just did. So it's going to be in the past, 1950, and all we know is that Jessica Lange is working on a German accent. This got people thinking maybe it's about McCarthyism, which I learned about in class and in school. And I think it makes sense. It definitely makes sense if it's about McCarthyism. I think it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I love this episode. So yeah, that does make sense to me. But honestly, can they make it better than Coven? I don't know. I think Coven was probably the best season of the show they've done. I mean, let me tell you something else. I saw this first season. I did not like it as much as Coven. There were parts in here that dragged. There were parts in here, I thought there were way too many characters in season 1. Like, for example, I understood Lily Rabe's character, but I didn't really like her character. Then Asylum came out. Asylum was just way too weird for me. I did not like Asylum at all. This one came out, and I absolutely loved it. Because it was so good. It was completely focused, except for, like, episode 11. It wasn't that focused. But I definitely love this episode. It was really, really good. So that's it for my review. Let me know what you guys saw in this episode. Was there anything you would have wanted to see from this that you didn't really get to see? Were you upset that Misty died? I was a little upset. What about Myrtle dying? Were you surprised? I was actually really surprised that Myrtle died. That's the only thing I was, like, really surprised about. Everything else was pretty predictable. I expected Cordelia to be a supreme. I expected Fiona. I was surprised that Fiona lived. I thought they were going to kill her off, but I should have known. They don't kill off Jessica Lange. She's their baby. They don't kill her off. I will say that once Jessica Lange leaves the show, I do think Sarah Paulson is going to stick around. I will say that. So yeah, that's it for American Horror Story. Unfortunately, that's all we get for American Horror Story till October. So, hope you guys enjoyed my reviews. I loved reviewing the show to you. It was my favorite show to review to you guys. And, I'll see you guys in the next video. So, goodbye to American Horror Story Coven. It's been great reviewing with you guys. And, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.